In terms of prospect arms, the Braves have a lot of guys to be excited about. We saw Spencer Schwellenbach make his MLB debut. It looks like he's going to get a second opportunity, but right on his heels, nipping at his heels, doing everything he possibly can to tell the Braves, hey, I'm ready. Just let me know when you need me, is Hurston Waldrip. He gets called up to Gwinnett, makes his first start of the year with the Stripers, strikes out 11. He now has 34 strikeouts and 4 walks over his last 4 starts. 3 or less runs in every start outside of his first 2 starts of the season. The splitter is just absolutely filthy. The fastball still tends to get a little bit harder than I think he would like, or we all like. We hope that those I'm calling his fastball a secondary offering, because the splitter is really he throws it like 40% of the time, and he should. It's one of the best pitchers. It's why at a floor, Waldrip has a really high floor of being a reliever, because that splitter is so good. But we hope he can turn into a starter, and it looks like everything's starting to come together for the young man now with the Stripers.
Yeah, the splitter, somebody put up, the best pitches in baseball across every single level, minor leagues and major leagues. And it came in ranked 3rd up there with Jordan Hicks's fastball or whatever it was, his 4-seamer. And that's so impressive for a guy who has made a few starts at the major league level, knowing that in your back pocket, like you said, at worst, I'm going to be a contributor at the major league level out of the bullpen. And I think, for an Atlanta Braves team with, maybe the 5th spot in the rotation goes to Spencer Schwellenbach. But to this point, the Braves have almost rocked a 6-man rotation, because they continually give Ronaldo Lopez extra days rest. And why wouldn't you, obviously, if you do have the arms to kind of expand it to a 6-man rotation? Chris Sale, Charlie Morton up there in age / injuries for Sale. And that's not to say Schwellenbach is going to be that lockdown 5th starter. So I think Hurston Waldrip's, call up to Atlanta is imminent. Obviously, take that with whatever you want, speculate however you want. Imminent. I mean, it's coming.
Yeah, it definitely seems
even
that
if
way.
It's just that spot start to give Ronaldo Lopez an extra day of rest. Even if it's something as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder how the Braves will approach it, because we've seen the very aggressive approach. We've seen it now with with Spencer Schwellenbach. We've seen it with AJ Smith-Shawver, Spencer Strider before him, but that's not necessarily always how they approach it. Sometimes they want to, basically do everything you possibly. Maybe they want to see 7 or 8 starts from out of Hurston Waldrip before they even consider it, just for development purposes. Everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own path. So it could very well not be in the cards. I'm with you. I think it is. I'm just saying, everyone has their own path. So if it's not in the next, few weeks or something, it very well could be, it's not really a knock on him. It's just what they think is best for his full-term development. And part of that could have something to do with the fact that, if Schwellenbach pitches really well this week, he kind of is establishing himself now as that 5th starter. Maybe they don't want to just throw Hurston Waldrip up there for one major league spot start. They'd rather use an Alan Winans or a Dylan Dodd or something like that.
I think, regardless of what they do, if it's imminent, if it's 7 starts from now, there's still plenty enough season for Hurston Waldrip to get acclimated at the major league level to have an impact in October. Think back when Spencer Strider got called up. He was working out of the bullpen. Obviously, we know they wanted him to be a starter, but I think any sort of role that Hurston Waldrip can carve out at the major league level to help this team win in October should be seen as a roaring success. Now, obviously, we all hope the kid ends up being an ace. That's obviously ideal. But in the immediate future, you got 3 guys who there's very few rotations can match up 1, 2, 3 with Max Fried, Chris Sale, and Ronaldo Lopez. Oh, yeah, and you got a guy, Charlie Morton, as your 4th starter. So the need to have Hurston Waldrip get acclimated and really be that guy in the postseason is not here yet. That's not to say it can't be, because injuries are inevitable. We don't know. But still, I think no matter what role he has, obviously we want it to be as a starter. There's plenty of time left in the season, even if he makes 6, 7, 8 starts in Gwinnett.
Yeah. I mean, you got 4 months left, and they might want to take things slowly, because they also don't want to burn this guy out. I mean, think about kind of what happened to Bryce Elder. If you do want him to be a guy, whether it's out of the bullpen or out of, as a starting pitcher later in the season and into the postseason, you're probably going to want to conserve some of this energy and not just burn him out. Because I don't know. I haven't looked. Actually, I can almost guarantee it. He hasn't thrown probably over 100 innings in his career over a single season. So that's definitely something they might want to monitor. It's something that they started monitoring early this season with AJ Smith-Shawver when they thought he was. But those are two guys right there. When you're talking about, we talk about Ken Giles, we talk about Dasbell Hernandez, we talk about Ian Anderson, we talk about these guys that haven't quite, shown themselves in the Braves for a very long time, but could have impacts. Hurston Waldrip, not just as a starter, but as a bullpen, maybe even better as a bullpen arm, because as I talked about with that high floor, that could be the case early in his career when we're talking about we need that impact. That splitter is so good over an inning. It could be where he's best used for this season.
Yeah, I think Spencer Strider is the perfect example of just how it could work out for Hurston Waldrip this season. It's just the need might not be there in the rotation. And I know that for Braves fans, that's like, of course we'll have needs. But right now, if things stay status quo for the Atlanta Braves rotation, there is no need for really even Spencer Schwellenbach. Even if he takes another step, you really only need 4 starters. And then again, that 5th starter can be a kind of a long relief kind of guy. And I think when you're talking about Hurston Waldrip's immediate impact, obviously you want longevity is important, thinking about his projectability as a starter. You're obviously going to still have him try and be a starter, but think back to when Spencer Strider got that call up. They were working him out of the bullpen, pretty much just whatever we need you, Hurston Waldrip, that's what you're going to do. It feels like the Braves aren't afraid to do that, kind of pickle somebody back and forth from the rotation to the bullpen. And versatile weapons out of the bullpen are so invaluable in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good stuff from Schwellenbach, and it's really good stuff from Hurston Waldrip. Yep. And if you think back to Owen Murphy, I know he had Tommy John surgery, and AJ Smith-Shawver's last start in the majors, his first start this season in the majors. I mean, when you talk about the top 4 prospects, those are your guys. And I don't know how you couldn't be anything other than impressed with those guys. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk Tommy Pham, a potential Braves trade target. Would he mesh in this Braves clubhouse, and would the Braves even consider it?